Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Let's Play series for Castlevania Aria S.A.N. And when we last left off, we explored a quarter of Dracula's castle and killed the first four bosses. And we're currently in the dance hall. I did one thing off camera, as I said I was going to do. I went and got the wood golem soul, which increases my MP recovery rate, which is quite useful. It's the enchantment soul I'm going to be using for the rest of this run, basically. Except for very specific situations. You didn't miss anything for that, really. I just went up through the corridor above here in this room and killed the wood golem that's in there repeatedly, and a few other monsters. Oh. One other thing farming does is you might notice I'm 2 levels higher than our last video. Alright. Yeah. So, we're all ready to get going here. Yeah, there's one. Yeah, that's about a dozen times. Plus. Didn't take too long, it took about 2 minutes. I probably could have left it in the video, but some of the other souls I have to farm take a lot of time to get. Fortunately, unlike Dawn of Sorrow, there's no soul level in this game. Basically, the more souls you collect in the other game, the stronger it gets. That wasn't added in this game. So, having one of them is the same as having 9 of them. Alright. So, we have the double jump, we have the slide. We're going to keep progressing through Dracula's castle now. I will be going back to get the book at some point, probably during this video. This, I believe... Quetzalcoatl like that are always difficult because they hop around, especially in closed spaces. Ow. Yeah, you can tell I'm a bit out of practice in the 2 weeks it's been since we streamed one of these. I'm keeping up the, as I mentioned in my Solasta video, I'm going to keep up the alternating of the one, because that's just a teleporter room. Doing good for items. I don't have enough to afford the katana, which is the best weapon in Hammer's shop at the moment. So let's just keep going. The whip sword is doing fine for the time being. So yeah, we'll be keeping the alternating between Let's Plays for at least the moment. That way I can occasionally show something else on my channel besides just Solasta, which is going to take a while to get through. Especially at an hour at a time. This game, by contrast, I mean, we're a quarter of the way through, so 4, maybe 5 videos is what I'm thinking. Yeah, up here first to get some items. Also, there's another save point. So, yeah. And I know I took on 4 bosses in the first one. That's going to slow down considerably. The bosses get spaced out from this point on. I love the reach on his whip sword. Unfortunately, or, well, also fortunately, it's going to get replaced because there are better weapons in the long run. Alright, samurai armor. I think that's better than what I currently have. Yeah, considerably. Just cost me some points in Constitution. Not terribly important. Alright. Yeah, it is nice having a weapon that reaches that far. Why is it every time I'm happy about something, you interrupt me? It's just in this area. These Quetzalcoatlus show up all the time. Yeah, the killer doll is kind of like a distraction. You throw like a plushy version of Soma and Mina. It looks adorable, but it has no real use apart from it draws enemy attention. Alright, I need to use this Catablebus to get up there. There we go. Ow. Okay, they don't curse me in this game. There we go. And I got a Mana Prism, which is a full mana restoration potion. Very rare to get one this early in the game. So, that will come in handy in the long run. He hit me with curry. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to miss the speed and reach of the whip sword, but its damage output is going to become underwhelming fairly soon compared to what else we're going to get. And for reach, I also have long-range souls like the Merman and other things. It will probably end up being replaced by after the next boss. Which is not that far off, actually. Yeah, alright. So now we're into the inner quarters. Can't quite make it there yet. In case you're wondering why I'm sliding along the floor there, there's one of these sections of floor there is a breakable section, and you can damage it by sliding like that. I can't exactly remember exactly where it is, which one of these it is. The sections of the castle do all start to look similar after a while. Alright. This is, yeah. This is an interesting little moment here. As you can see, this little rabbit continuously causes us to go back in time here. There's no way of us getting this for the time being. We have to come back later once we get a specific soul to resist temporal manipulation. Alright. Yeah, the next boss is imminent, I believe. Yeah, here we go. Alright. Yeah, there's not much else I need. This is a tricky boss. Oh, from this point on, all the bosses are unique. We've had all the ones who are going to become regular enemies as the game progresses. Now we fight the Headhunter. The Headhunter has 3 phases. The first one is this Duchess, is what I call her. She's the easiest. All she does is move back and forth and try and stab you with that knife. The Whip Sword makes her really easy because if you do enough damage to her, she can actually... she backdashes. That's her other trick. I got hit, but it is actually possible to get through this phase without taking any damage at all. But now we're on to the second phase. The Wizard, who is much trickier. He flies through the air and casts 2 spells. These 3 lightning bolts, and we'll see the other one in a moment. It's like homing fire spirits. There you go. Yeah. Fiery wolves' heads, kind of like Cerberus. However, the really annoying thing about him is he just floats around the room, and he can just run into you. Yeah. The trick to this fight is, well, first of all, patience, and trying to figure out the attack pattern that each phase uses. If you can recognize the phrases that he uses before casting his spells, which are in Japanese, which is not hard at all, they sound completely different. It does help keep track of what he's going to do. There we go. And now we're into the third phase, which I just call the lizard, basically, because it looks like a lizard. Climbs on. This one's tricky. It climbs on the walls and surfaces, has a long tongue, and it sprays poison gas at you. It is somehow both the most mobile phase and the one that stays stationary the most. Yeah, that's the annoying thing. You can crouch around most of its attacks, but it also just scurries around. So... see, this is why I said the whip sword comes in really handy for this fight. But it is going to be the last fight I really end up using it much in. It's already barely doing 30 damage to this thing. Alright, the Headhunter isn't too difficult, though. Now, the Headhunter's soul is interesting. It raises your stats based on the number of souls you collect, so there is one benefit to farming multiple souls, and that is of each type of soul. That soul, just using it, increases your stats. I never use that because I prefer my mana regeneration. But it can be useful in hard mode, because generally stat increases are very, very important. That, and there is a magic item called the Chaos Ring you can find that just gives you infinite mana in that. Alright, this is another thing that'll happen sometimes. Bosses, when they're no longer in the room, will be replaced with a powerful monster. In this case, this is the witch I was talking about in the previous one. And I get her soul first try. That's nice. Alright, I wanted to show this. So, this is the main difference. It's a frontward-facing magic shield that repels bullets. It switches direction like you do, but it is much cheaper than a giant ghost soul. It's only one direction, but that's fine. I'm so glad I got that. Alright, we want to go up here now, because the next soul we need up here. Okay. Valkyries possess one of the strongest bullet souls in the game. I'm not really going to be using it because I find it makes the game a joke. And I've played through this game dozens of times. I'm trying to at least make it somewhat challenging. Because, well, I played this game out so much. I have seen that, by the way. It does happen. Alright. So, using all the strongest souls in the game is kind of makes it too easy. I'm already going to be showcasing the strongest weapon in the game. No point in showcasing the strongest souls. I'm going to be using my favorites instead, like the Witch Soul, the Merman. Sometimes I've literally done challenges in this where I play through with just the Merman Soul, because you can get it so early. Unfortunately, it does get outclassed by a lot of weapons and others, and basically everything. Because it's basically like Water Gun in Pokemon, like so I compared it to last video. It's nice, but it does get outclassed quickly. Alright, this Undine Soul is what we need next. Allows us to walk on the surface of water. That's what we need to get to the next area we're going towards. So we did have to come up this way. But we can leave now. And I can also avoid taking a lot more damage from this disc armor. However, this is where we get the first of the magic swords in this game. And Hrunting, however you pronounce that, it's Old Norse, I'm not very good at that, is a poison blade. You see, it has this sort of purpley fiery effect, which is how to demonstrate the poison. It does a lot more damage than the whip sword, and it's about as quick. It doesn't have the reach, but the damage output's nice, and it can poison enemies. Though that's enemies that are vulnerable that are vary a bit. We're in a castle full of undead after all. But it is the first of the magic swords in this game, and it outclasses the whip sword completely, which is why I said we're not really going to need it going forward. That Curly Soul is probably another one I'm going to want, because I mentioned the three last time. There were Metamorphosis Souls, Guardian Base Souls. Curly, which is like basically a translation error from Kali, the Hindu goddess of death and destruction, is one of them. You can basically assume her form and rush at enemies. Alright, this is a tricky enemy. The Kioma Demon. I'm going to use the potions before I die. But yeah, it basically shows up in these specific mirrors, which makes it really tricky to fight, because it'll attack you if you stay stationary in there. And it has an unusual ability, to say the least. It's not all that useful, unfortunately. As you can see, that's the stat increases the Headhunter Soul gives me. It gets more and more as I collect more souls. As you can see, the Hrunting is doing a lot more damage than the Whip Sword was. Alright. I also will actually need the Curly Soul. Well, technically I don't need the Curly Soul, it's just the one I prefer. I need one of the Metamorphosis Souls. I should explain what this imp is doing to me. Basically, imps can possess you and they force you to attack repeatedly. But they also root you to the spot. So they're annoying in that regards. Alright. So, as I was saying, I've mentioned that there's an incredibly powerful weapon in this game that you can get access to. It's in a secret area of the game. And the only way to get access to it is you need one of the Metamorphosis Souls, because it lets you rush through a waterfall that is guarding that area. We'll come into that later. So I will actually need one of those souls to get that sword I'm talking about. However, I will want it anyway because it's one of the strongest souls in the game, and it makes some bosses coming up short work. Unfortunately, unless the next boss is one of the ones I want it for, and unless I want to take a break in recording the video, which I could do, but I'm going to I'll have to decide on that, because it would help a long time, and there aren't many other farmable souls I need to farm now. The Witch Soul I have the Merman Soul, you saw me get it. I have the Wood Golem Soul, Curly's is one I'll need. And there's a few more. Yeah, that's probably a good question to ask some, but let's get a bit of lore from Mina while I think this over. Yeah. Tensho Daijin is another name for Amaterasu, the Japanese sun goddess, and Susanoo is her brother, and this is straight out of Japanese mythology here. In 1999, a ritual was conducted in Europe. And that's how we ended up in our predicament. Yeah, we now at least have some idea what's going on. But there's only so much that's going to help. But it's nice to know that Konami did a lot of research into, well, Japanese mythology as well as just European mythology, which they tend to use for most Castlevania games. I guess that was important since they were setting this game in Japan. Right, don't need that. Bye, Whip Sword. Never needed the lance. I think I'm going to keep the Lucky Charm for the time being. Alright. Place the potions I used. Get these curative potions, because I'm going to need those. Yeah, I could get the katana, which is technically stronger, but it's a waste of money at this point. Yeah, so that's fine. Unfortunately, the hammer's, well, items he has on sale will pale in comparison to things we will find exploring the castle ourselves. And I know where most of them are. I don't technically have to go through this area again, but in that time period I decided it was probably a good idea that I go and take a slight pause in the recording here and farm Curly's soul. I'm going to try and avoid doing this in the future, but it is one of the ones I need, and getting it now will make the next boss much more bearable and easy. So I'm going to do that. It's going to just take a few moments. Nothing's going to affect you guys at all in your video. I'm just going to have to make it pause here for a moment. So, one moment. Okay, so apparently the secret to getting these, easily farming these souls is to do this on in a lettuce play and get it really early. Alright, that was simple enough. I literally only went into this room once and cleared it out. So I've gone up another level, but this is incredibly powerful and very helpful. I also picked up a skull necklace. Extra defense. I think I prefer the luck. Alright, so that took no time at all. That was literally like a minute and a half. Alright. Oh yeah. The Persephones, which are these maids, they will literally just walk off of there and disappear. Yeah. Okay, Lilith, this succubus-style demon, is very tricky because, first of all, she backdashes away from attacks, and that, her kiss, her magical kiss attack, is something you have to watch out for because it curses you. In the sequel to this game, Dawn of Sorrow, they return and they use that ability again, but their claws attack also poisons you. I don't think that does that in this game, though. Ah. I do not want to be cursed. Lilith Soul also increases your intelligence, which is useful. It's one of the stat boosting ones. The Quetzalcoatl one was another one we got earlier. Boosts Constitution. Intelligence is more important than Constitution. It's actually, Constitution is probably the least useful because unlike in Dungeons & Dragons, it doesn't impact your hit point total at all. And this is the room where I would be farming the Witch Soul, if I didn't already have it. Because there's two of them. Ow. Yeah, they turn into cats and run at you. Alright, that's... Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where it's the best way to head down. So, the plan at the moment is, now that I've got the souls I need for the next boss, is... Ah! Yeah, okay, their claws don't poison you in this game. They just do damage. Ow. Oh yeah. She also has a lot of hit points. Oh, this is the wrong way. I just realized that. There we go. Yeah. I have to go the other way, where the witches are. Yeah, this is an interesting area. Mostly because it's called the Inner Quarters, so I assume this is Dracula's quarters in some ways. But, yeah. And the basically, with one exception, like 99% of all the demons in here are women. So, that implies some very interesting speculations about Dracula. Alright, this is the top floor, which we will be back to later, because we can't do it. This is our destination, though. Up that way, which we can't reach, is the throne room. So, we will be coming back here, but later. That's why I want to get the teleporter in the inner quarters, because the private quarters there, because it's the easiest place to teleport back to get there in the long run. Alright. We're back in the castle corridor now. Alright, so we want to go... I'm just going to show on OBS for a second. We want to go down this way and go back up that way to get to the next area. However, first, it would probably be a good idea for us to go get that book. Because I'm already rushing through this game as it is. Unintentionally, it's just not a very long game. So getting the book, which will tell us the first of the souls I need to farm. Yeah, so there's at least, by my count, minimum I'm going to be farming 3 more souls. One of which I want, 2 of which are mandatory. Just for getting the good ending in this game. So yeah, it just makes a lot of sense to me to go get that now, since we're in the relatively close vicinity. We need another soul to get that sword. It's not very good to begin with. It's one of the many katanas in this game. I don't think it's a... I don't even remember which one it is. That's how memorable it is. Alright, so we need to go through the chapel, and then we need to go through the study to get the book. By the way, one of the things that's through that area where that little rabbit with the stopwatch is reversing time for us is another one of these books. Basically, they're all in hard-to-access areas of the castle. So it's kind of like keeping what specifically you need to get the good ending secret from you. A lot of Metroidvania games, especially the ones that Koji Igarashi worked on, have secret endings. Like Symphony of the Night also has that. Dawn of Sorrow definitely does, and actually I think all of them do. It was something he was quite fond of doing. Ha! This room is too big for you. You can bounce around as much as you want, and you don't have to. I don't have to worry about you hitting me unless I jump right into you. Let's just leave. Ha! Ow. Yeah, this is slightly more difficult to aim, but I like it because it's not the perfect sphere that the other one is. That, and I like the fact that it costs less. It costs 40% less than the other one in the long run, even with my mana regeneration. As you can see, it kind of fluctuates a bit there. So, it makes it a lot easier to maintain. I think I needed the flying armor again. The flying armor never really... Well, it does become obsolete at a certain point because eventually we will just be able to fly up there, but... Until then, we still need this. Kindly walk off that ledge faster, please. Ow. These little spinning skulls with blades are annoying. As are these winged skeletons. I literally don't need it. I have no use for them anymore. I have their soul, you start with it in this game. And it's not very good. Even for the early game, it's not very good. It's better than nothing, basically, is what it comes down to. No, I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? Yes, I am. I'm heading towards the teleporter. Oops! I will need to do that, because that's how I'll be getting out of here. That's what happens sometimes when I'm just talking on... when recording and stuff. And like, yeah, I'm supposed to go this way. My mind just goes on autopilot, basically. Well, that was a pointless tangent. Well, I have to fill up this video somehow. Otherwise, this is going to be a very, very short Let's Play series. It's probably going to be very, very short anyway. Let's be perfectly honest. Okay. I want to show just how powerful this soul is, so... Kindly line up, everybody. Mana intensive, but devastating. This soul can end boss fights quite quickly. Technically, I could have used the Manticore soul just as well, and or the there's another one, the Devil, in this game, who has the exact same, well, similar abilities, but this is the easiest to farm in this game. Yep, gets you through these sections, does lots of damage, destroys enemies. What more do you want? Well, for it to cost less, I suspect, but that's fine. I figured I should show that off. Given that we're only at the halfway mark of this video, we're probably getting to the next boss fight as well. Alright. So now we have the Ancient Book. Alright, so if we go into the items menu here, and we scroll down to it, the first spirit is a demon from Hellfire. I'm sure that's to be Hell's Fires. But that's a clue on what we need. Apparently there's no... I'll go this way for a moment, but I'm pretty sure we can. Ah, the Forbidden Area. This is the area I'm talking about. Where the strongest weapon, and technically the strongest armor, are kept in the game. However, we cannot get through that side. That's just like the quick way out. There we go. Alright, so that's the first of the 3 books we need. With Dracula's secrets in it. And, yes, so that's the red, that's going to be the bullet soul. That's why it's red. There's a blue one and there's a yellow one. And left to find. And don't worry, we will be finding them. Even though it is really not necessary. I could easily get the souls I need without it. However, it's kind of nice to play through this as you would on your first playthrough normally, especially for a Let's Play series or streaming in general. Because for some of you, this is going to be your first time experiencing the game, so it's nice to show you exactly what you need to do. to beat this game, especially if you're planning using this as a guide for your own playthrough of this game. I know the Metroidvania, there's a strong community that loves Metroidvania games, including myself. So, this could be a guide for anyone who is finding it a bit challenging, I suppose. Or just wants to follow along. Anyway, I digress. Alright, now we need to go up that way. I got ahead of myself. Alright. Yeah, alright. So, now we need to go backtrack to that area I showed you on my map. The easiest way to do that will just be to teleport to the castle corridor again. Oh, no, that's the wrong spot. One too early. I could go from here, but there's no point. There we go. Alright. I could go visit Mina again, but I'm at full health, so it's not much point. Let's just proceed. Now that I double jump, I can just jump over the zombies. Alright, yeah, this is the area where we got the flying armor soul in the last video. I was about to say in a previous video, but yeah, it was the previous video. I'm still not used to the fact how quick this is going. But for context, this is a game I know as well as Link to the Past, and it's probably like half the size? Maybe even less? Alright. Yeah, so this is what we need the Undine Soul for, but a section coming up. I always enjoy killing all three of those at once with the Merman Soul. Alright, we need the Undine Soul for this. To jump up there. That was legitimately it. Well, no. There are other areas in the castle which is useful, but that's the main one that we need. Alright, now we're in the floating garden, which is kind of the center of the castle. This is a bit of a confusing area, and... oh, cockatrice. Why am I always being petrified in my videos? There we go. Yeah. This is also pretty close to the halfway point of the game where the enemies start getting a lot tougher. This is also one of the more confusing areas if you do not know what you're doing. Fortunately, I do know what I'm doing. I'm just coming here to save. And now we need to use those platforms to navigate upwards. And then I will show you what I mean by this area gets confusing. As you can see, all the enemies are doing a lot more damage and they have a lot more hit points now. I think this is the platform we want. Excuse me. Ah, more imps. I was looking for a map. There's the next section of the map around here somewhere. Ah, there it is. That's map 3. Yeah. Again, using OBS here. You see these? Those floating little rooms, basically? Yeah, they're part of this section too. But you're probably thinking, but they're not connected. Yeah, that's the problem. They are, but they're kind of like connected via teleportation. You'll see in a moment. I may have come up the wrong one. Yeah, I did. Oh well. Yeah. Alright. Well, I wanted to get the map anyway. There we go. This is the one I have to go up. Avoiding the imps, I got hit by the Gorgon. Alright. As you can see, we've now teleported. This is a pretty simple teleporting area, not like teleportation dungeons, which I've covered here. Other areas that are other games are quite annoying. It's quite simple. This is the devil I was talking about. It's not actually that big of a boss or anything. He's just, it's like a devil, kind of. But this is the third of the demons I mentioned that has the soul necessary to transform. He's the first of the actual demon-type enemies you encounter in this game. And he's got a lot of hit points, but that's about it. Just has the basic flying around maneuvers, basically. Alright. Basically, when you go through some of these rooms, there's a good chance that you'll come out in a different one. Ow! That was a Mandragora. Their scream is quite devastating. Okay. Yeah, those are the new Fleamen. Save point here, which is nice. However, I'm going to show you one more thing that we can't do here yet. We could get the kicker skeleton. Its soul is quite easy to get. It's we're not going to get it yet. That's fine. It is completely unnecessary. Yeah, this is a magically sealed door. We'll be back here later, near the end of the game. Alright, in the meantime, we have to keep going. Alright, we just have to navigate our way through this area. It doesn't take too long. Yeah, so this is the one we were in before. Ah! Dead warrior galloping around up there, devil flying up around there. It's really annoying. So, I do need to maneuver around a little. No, I don't want to. No, the dead warrior is easier to jump over. Alright, this is the one with the Mandragora down there. I think I have to go through the one. Yeah, as long as you're not on screen when it. As long as it's not on screen when it screams, you're fine. Yep, there we go. This is the first area where you can start farming the Manticore Soul. As I said, basically from this point on, all of the bosses we've fought in this point, except for the Headhunter, will return as regular enemies. Alright. I got this. Lots of enemies I'm just avoiding because there's no point in fighting them, really. Yeah, those fireballs go a long way. Alright, this is it. This is the one that I need. Because, yeah. The trick is basically just keep heading left and you will eventually make it out of there. And we are rewarded with the clock tower. Quite possibly the most brutal area in any Castlevania game. Nope. We meet Graham again. I'm gonna take a drink of water and you can read the text while I skip through it. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to be curious about that. Yeah, a common belief in a lot of cycles of reincarnation is that if you are born on the same day someone dies, you their soul's just gone into your body. Yeah, that's kind of what they're going for there. Yeah, that's kind of a reaction here is kind of unexpected. Well, maybe not so, but he's starting to show his real colors here. I promise it will all make sense in the long run. So yeah, we're starting to see some of Graham's true qualities, just in case you didn't think Yoko was trustworthy. However, if you're trusting him over a descendant of Sci-Fi, I'm sorry, but I cannot help you. You are beyond help. Please see yourself out. The Medusa heads. Quite possibly the most annoying enemy in Castlevania history. Their soul is useful, and I might need it later on, but it's not one of the mandatory ones. Oh, speaking of Yoko. Hello. Yeah, we literally just ran into him. Which does beg a bit of a question. How did you two not run into each other? This is kind of the only way to go. Well, I assume it's Dracula's throne. Yoko's got a bit of an interesting personality. It's basically kind of similar to the personality they gave Sypha on the in the Netflix show. Yeah, it has, based on... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is quite true. It's easy to avoid someone you don't want to run into when you're nice and calm, but as soon as your mind starts acting erratically, it becomes much trickier. You make mistakes and slip up. Also, the clock tower has a lot of new enemies, which are kind of like upgraded versions of the ones we had before. This bomber armor, for instance, is an upgrade over the rock armor. These harpies are an upgrade over the sirens, and about as easy to kill. And these lightning dolls are an upgrade to the killer dolls, and they actually are dangerous. Ah! No, do not ram me into those spikes. This is why the clock tower in Castlevania games are so annoying. Tons of flying enemies and tons of hazards. Oh, those golden Medusa heads, they're the ones that petrify you. What's this way? Oh. That links up with the top floor, I believe. Another familiar face, but I don't have time to fight you. Such a useful spell. So useful. Ah! Ah! Not very useful against flying enemies, unfortunately. Come on, I want to save my potions for the boss that's coming up. Get out of my way. Shoo. Fly off. Go bug Phineas and Jason and the Argonauts. Finally. Alright, so that's the boss. There is one thing I want to pick up first, and that's a replacement for the Hoodling, which isn't very good against this boss. Actually, in general, it's not very good. We might not get to the boss this episode then if I go looking for it, but that's fine. Or I might. He is one of the tougher ones, though. Alright, I'm trying to remember what it is. It's behind a breakable wall. That's the problem. Alright, there. It's over a pit. No, not there. No, not there. There it is. This could be it. Alright, what soul do I have that travels that far? This one? Bloody harpies. Flying enemies in Castlevania games are so annoying. But anyway, this is what I want to get. The Mistletoe, which is the ancient Norse for mistletoe, which is the sacred tree it's said to be carved from. The reason it's good in this is even though it's a wooden sword, because it's enchanted, it does considerable damage. More specifically, it does holy elemental damage, which all but 3 enemies in this game are weak to. It's also incredibly fast. It's a stark improvement over the Hrundling. Oh yeah. Valkyries, by the way, are one of the 3 enemies I mentioned. Fortunately, they are fragile. And my attack power is pretty high. Even with their resistance to it. Alright. This boss shouldn't take too long. Yeah. This sword is going to be very helpful. Alright, so let's save. And much like with the last one, I think we'll fit the boss in and then call it there. Mostly because I want to showcase one of the most iconic Castlevania bosses. If the slice isn't a giveaway, you're... again, you are beyond help. Meet Death, who is in more Castlevania games than even Dracula. And this is why I wanted the Witch Soul. It makes keeps all his mini sickles away, and can actually reflect them back at him for damage. You actually can jump into them with this, and that. He also adds this energy geyser spell after you get about halfway in phase 1. And yeah, this is the first multi-phase boss fight. Well, no, it isn't, sorry. I forgot. The Headhunter was. Getting into corners like that with all those geysers is dangerous. Alright. There we go. Alright, phase 2, which first point I need the Curly Soul. I don't need it, but it makes this really straightforward. That is his most dangerous attack. Because you're invincible in this other form, it's a great way of doing damage to him and evading his attacks. Ah! Timing the jump on that can be tricky. You also just crouch under that one. But this is much more useful. Ah. Ran out of magic. Alright, I want to avoid using the Mana Prism, but he doesn't have a lot of health left. There we go. Yeah, and now we can summon his sickles if we want. Not a bad soul, but not very useful, really. Not compared to what we already have. And now we have the Skula, or what I assume is meant to be Scylla, as in the Greek monster soul, which lets us maneuver underwater. The opposite of the Undine Soul, but that's why we had to come to Clock Tower as well. Oh, and if you're playing hard difficulty, that crevice up there, that is where you can get Death Scythe. I'm just going to show you. Right here. There's nothing here because I'm playing on normal. Alright. However, this is a good stopping point because death really is basically the halfway point of the game. So it's nice that we've made it here. Not quite halfway percentage of the map, but that's because I haven't been exploring everything like a completionist. Next time we'll be going underwater, as you can guess from that. There's an underwater passage we pass by through the clock tower to get here. And we're going to be looking for more of Dracula's secrets, trying to find out what Graham is up to. And hopefully find a way out of this castle. Until then, thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe, and please join me here again in 2 weeks for part 3 of this Let's Play series. Based on how far we made it thus far, yeah, I'm thinking maybe 5 episodes at most in this series. Not a very long game, and I know it really well. Goodbye, everyone.